Hey guys, today I'm going to do one of the collections that I talked about, and so this is going to fulfill a couple requests. I've had requests to talk about some of the favorite places that I have that I've traveled, and I have some requests to do a collections haul, like something that I collect, and I have told you guys that I collect postcards and I've actually had several subscribers say they also collect postcards, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to be chewing icebreakers, ice cubes, peppermint flavored gum, and I'm going to be going through some of these postcards. So what I realized, I told you guys when I got my Christmas stuff out of the attic that I was going to look for my postcards, and I did find them, which I was really happy about. But as I started going through them, I realized that I have too many to just do one video. So I'm going to divide this up into several parts. I won't do them one after the other. I'll just kind of come back to this. But I have too many to just do in one sitting. So I thought with Europe alone, I probably need to divide it over 2 videos. And then I know that the United Kingdom is also part of Europe, but I think I should probably do England, Scotland, and Ireland in one video because I have quite a few. That would be a shorter video, but I have quite a few from that. And then North and South America could be one video. That will be pretty lengthy as well. But then Asia and Africa can go together. So that's if I do 2 of Europe, not including the UK and Ireland. So that's 3. North and South America, Asia, and Africa. That's 5 videos. So this will just kind of be maybe a continued series that I come back to from time to time. But today I'm going to do like a part 1 of Europe. I have so many because I have been to Europe. Like, I'm so thankful I have gotten the chance to travel to Europe multiple times. That has been such a blessing. I love Europe. Oops. And I've got a lot to share about those trips, but I may have to, I don't know. I guess how much I share is going to depend on how many I do, but let's get started. Oops. I'm realizing that I left some Ireland ones in here. Okay. Greece. Greece is beautiful. I've only had the pleasure of going to Greece once. But I have several postcards from that trip, and then my sister also traveled to Greece and got me some postcards while she was there. So I'm probably going to have several of these. This is just kind of a generic Greece postcard, and then I have some from specific places. Paris. I've been to Paris twice. Once when I was studying abroad in college. We went and spent a week in Paris. And I loved it. And then once, I was still in college, but my family took a trip to Paris at Christmas one year. And that was my second time visiting Paris. And it is beautiful. There are so many sights to see in Paris. Obviously, like the big things like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre. Um, but then, there's a lot of things off the beaten path in Paris to see and do. I think I have a postcard, but we went to Versailles, home of Marie Antoinette. That's a little bit outside. You have to take a train, I think. But we went to Versailles. I did that once when I was traveling abroad. We paid to go there. So the second time when my family wanted to go, I just like went to a coffee shop so they could do it. Because I don't want to pay for it again, but it's beautiful. The gardens at Versailles were beautiful. Loved Paris. It's not the city that I would go back to again and again and again. But it's definitely like you need to do it. It's really nice. I probably felt a little more nervous in Paris than some other cities in Europe. We saw somebody get robbed on the subway. I know that happens everywhere, but seeing it there was a little nerve-wracking. And then in the train station at Charles de Gaulle train station, as soon as you get off the train, people just start surrounding you, asking for things like in French. And so I don't speak French. And it's a little unnerving because you have your luggage with you, you have stuff. These like teenage girls and like younger girls would come up to us and like take things off of our person. And so you're just feeling really overwhelmed because you're trying to hold on to everything you have. And like people are like tugging at you and trying to get things, and it was a little unnerving. That I've never had an experience like that in any other train station besides Charles de Gaulle. And I've traveled a lot, and that's the only place that's ever happened to me. And like you have to go fill out your customs forms when you get off the train, because usually coming into Charles de Gaulle, like you're coming into France. So not everybody, but I mean my experiences. Like once we were traveling from London, and another time we were traveling from Belgium. So we're, crossing the border into France, and everybody individually has to fill out like the address of the place that you're staying. And wow, both times I was there in that train station, these girls, it's very sad because this is not their choice. I'm sure that they have to do this. There's a bigger somebody making them do this, but they're like looking over your shoulder trying to read what you're putting down. And it's just unnerving because you're like, what, I don't really want this random person to know where I'm staying. And anyway, too much information, but I think those experiences that I had in Paris made me more nervous than other places in Europe. But it's a beautiful city, very magical. I loved it. Somebody is probably going to be able to tell me where this is from. It doesn't have everything in the back is in German. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this postcard is from Germany. But I can't remember where it is. It's very beautiful. But I can't remember where this was. So if somebody wants to tell me, that would be great. I can't, some of those names are hard to pronounce. I think this might be Scotland. Yes, it is. How did I get all my Scotland ones in here? I'll have to come back to those. Okay. Venice in Italy. Beautiful. I only spent one day in Venice, so we didn't get to see as much as we wanted, but we just took a train in for the day when I was there. But it was really cool just to see the city and see all the canals and waterways. It's, I would be terrified to live in Venice because of all the flooding. I mean, everything is always in danger of flooding there. But it was very beautiful. Okay, Santorini is in Greece. I didn't get to go to Santorini. I don't know, people probably know this, but Santorini is an island, so it's not attached to the mainland, obviously. And so it costs quite a bit if you're in Greece already to get out to Santorini. So you could either take kind of like a tiny plane or you could take a ferry. And we just didn't have enough time to do everything we wanted in Athens. And then we were heading back to Italy. So this was, that reminds me of the video I did where we were stuck on that ferry from Greece to Italy forever and we were late. And ended up stranded in Milan. But on that trip, we were trying to decide if we were going to have time to go to Santorini, and we just didn't. I had some friends that went, but I wanted to go to Switzerland, and so we decided not to go. But I had this postcard because my sister did go to Santorini. She did a Mediterranean cruise several years ago, and I have a couple postcards actually from that cruise because I have several that I did not go to myself. I had a friend who honeymooned in Santorini. It just looks so idyllic. If you've been there, let us know. It looks beautiful. I would love to go someday. Okay. Oh, okay. Another one of Greece. Most of these are Athens. Pictures from Athens. So we did do these things when we were there. So pretty. Greece was also not the safest place at the time that I went. And I think because we were in college, we were staying at like the cheapest places. And they weren't the safest places, but we didn't have a bad experience. We just had people warn us. Like, even some people like outside of the little hotel we were staying at were kind of like, hey, you need to be inside at dark. And we were like, okay. But we had great experience there. Prague. I have not been to Prague. My sister got me this. How cool does the architecture look in Prague? So cool. I've had friends go to Prague and say that it's amazing. I would love to go, but I haven't been there myself. Oh, this was from that Mediterranean cruise from like Corinth. I did go to Corinth, but I didn't get this postcard there. My sister got this for me on that cruise. I'm thinking that this is like an idea of what they were doing going through there. Super cool. Saarburg. We went to Germany a lot. I've been there quite a few times. That goes in the UK. Okay, these were cemeteries that we went to in Luxembourg. Yes, so there's like an American like war memorial and cemetery outside of Luxembourg, and so we visited that. Barcelona. Have not been to Barcelona. I've never been to Spain, but my sisters both have. So they got me this when they were there. They did a trip together because I had a sister who lived in Europe for a while, for like 4 years. And so we would go visit her. And on one of the trips that they did, they went to Barcelona. I would love to go there. Trier. Trier is such a cute little village in Germany. I went there several times when we went to visit, and they had such a cute like Christmas market. So if we would go at Christmas, we would go to this little Christmas market at Trier. It was really cute and beautiful. Oh, Bruges in Belgium. They're famous for their lace. And so I remember when I was studying abroad there, my sister was married, but she didn't have a kid yet. But I bought these lace little foot booties, little shoes for her, hopefully one day baby. And she ended up wearing, her daughter wore those home from the hospital, I believe, or wore them to her first church service or something. And they were so precious. There were lots of waterways and stuff in Bruges. It was really pretty. Oh yeah, Versailles. Here's a postcard from Versailles. Those gardens that I mentioned were so elaborate and beautiful. The fountains. There's this little village that went along with Versailles where Marie Antoinette would go stay. And it was beautiful. That was a really cool trip. This was also from my sister's cruise from Greece. They went to Corfu. I did not go here, but this was one of her favorite places that they went on that cruise, was to Corfu. If you've gone to any of those little islands, let us know. Okay, that goes with that. Okay, one of my favorite places in the world is Italy and Cinque Terre. There are these 5 cities along the coast in Italy, hence the name Cinque Terre. And we stayed here once when I was in college and studying abroad, and then again when my sister lived in Europe and we went to visit. This was one of the trips that we took, was to Cinque Terre in Italy. So beautiful. You can hike between the 5 cities, and so you're on the coast and just hiking through these mountains. I have another postcard in this collection that I'll show that goes with this. But this is one of the cities. And yeah, the second time we visited, this is the city that we stayed in. It was a cute little Airbnb apartment that we stayed in. This is a postcard from Rome. If anybody's seen the movie Angels and Demons, this is one of the buildings that they go into in that movie. And it's a beautiful bridge. We went at nighttime so we could kind of see this view. It was really pretty. I love Rome. Italy is one of my favorite places. The public transportation in Italy, the trains and stuff, they go on strikes a lot, and you can never truly count on your train to be there when it says it's going to be there. The second time we stayed in Cinque Terre, I'm trying to remember where we were supposed to fly out of. But we were in Cinque Terre, and we had scheduled enough time to leave on a train. We had booked our tickets. So the morning we had to fly out to go back to Germany, we had scheduled a train to go to Pisa first before we went to the airport. And so we were going to stop over in Pisa, get a quick picture with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and go to the airport. I actually think we were flying out of Pisa. Well, we showed up to the train and they were on strike. And it's not like you get your tickets back. It's like if you wanted to stay at that destination until they went off strike, then I'm sure you could use your ticket. But we had a plane booked. Like, we couldn't miss our flight. So we were scrambling. And we finally just had to find a random taxi that was willing. It wasn't even like a taxi. It was just this random dude who was like, if you pay me this much, I will take you to the airport in Pisa. And we were like, yeah, that's fine, because we don't have a lot of options. And So we didn't get to go to the tower because we didn't have enough time. We were like barely made our flight. So, and that has happened to me, you know, a few times. Like every time I go to Italy, something doesn't work out with the trains. But I love it. It's just awesome. I've been to Rome twice as well, and I loved it. If that's one of the places in the world that I would go back first if I had the option. I love Italy. Love it. My husband's never been, and so I would love for us to get to go someday. Would love to go back. Here's another one of Santorini that my sister gave me. Beautiful. Another beautiful one of Rome with lots of the different sites. The Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps. So beautiful. I remember sitting at a little cafe very near the Colosseum, and like, you know, you just stay for hours at dinner. It's just awesome. And when I was there with my sister and her husband and my dad, we just got pizza at this little cafe, and we just sat there for hours just visiting, and what, like, the Colosseum was right there. It was just so wonderful. The atmosphere, and I don't know. I just love it. Here's another one of Trier that I mentioned before. Beautiful little village. I think I've been there twice on 2 different trips to Germany. Here's another one of Luxembourg that's actually of the city, not just the cemetery. That was a really cool city. It's more like modernized than a lot of cities in Europe. Greece, just the Grecian flag. Corinth. We did go to Corinth and saw the ancient ruins and things there. Very beautiful. Here's another one of Bruges in Belgium. Beautiful buildings. Brussels. Love Brussels. That's another really pretty city in Belgium. I remember outside this building, somebody was getting married, and we saw this beautiful lady in her dress, her white dress, and they were taking their photos outside this building. It was really beautiful. Strasbourg. I just love all the buildings. It's so pretty. Paris, I've already shown, but here's another postcard of Paris, the Louvre. So pretty. Seeing Paris at night is awesome. Okay, this one might be... This is like a castle. Another one that I'm not sure. I'm pretty positive it's in Germany, but I'm not sure where. So pretty. So many castles also. I might get through all these. Florence in Italy. So beautiful. They're famous for their leather. So I got like a leather purse in Florence. So beautiful. Ramstein and Landstuhl in Germany. Here's another one from the Cinque Terre, those 5 cities in Italy. I think the first time I went, this is the city that I stayed in a little Airbnb. And then the second time was the first one that I showed you. They're all on the water, just on the coast. So pretty. Malaga, I did not go here. This is another place my sisters went. They loved it. And Switzerland, you know from my previous videos that I loved Switzerland. I've been there twice as well because one of the Christmases we went to visit my sister, we went to Switzerland for Christmas. And it was just perfect. All the snow in the world, all the chocolate in the world. It was beautiful. Olympia in Greece. Another one of the places we went. Another Switzerland postcard. Perfect. That reminds me of that other video that I told you about when I could hear the cow with the bell around his neck outside my window and how perfect it was. So beautiful. Amsterdam. I did love Amsterdam, but I was only there for one day, so I didn't feel like I really got to do it justice. We did go to the Anne Frank house, and that was really neat getting to see that and tour that. But we had been in Europe for a few months at that point, and we really wanted some American food, so we went there. There was a Hard Rock Cafe in Amsterdam, and we did go there.